Hi, my loves. Are you in an abusive relationship? And before you answer, I want you to just remember that most people in abusive relationships have no idea that they're in abusive relationships. And the reason for that is because our society and our cultures, they don't promote abuse to what it actually is. We only commonly understand what dramatic and extreme abuse is. So we're understanding when people are like physically, hitting and punching, that kind of stuff. But when it's things that are common in society or common in our cultures, we're saying, we're not even batting an eye to it. We're pretending like it's normal and that it's healthy. When actually the way to move into healthy relationships, to be healthy and to cure yourself of abuse, right, is the first thing is to acknowledge and understand what abuse actually is. And so if you don't really know, which 95% of the population of our world has no idea what abuse actually is, because abuse goes more than just physical. And when I'm mentoring other women and coaching them to love themselves and be healthy, the first thing that they say when I say that they're in an abusive relationship is they say, "Oh, I'm not in an abusive relationship." And then when we dive further into the details of their relationship, I let them know that they are in fact in abusive relationships because abuse is happening. And it's because most people, like I said, don't understand what true abuse is. We only know the extremes. We only think of abuse and label it when it's really dramatic, right? When it's life-threatening. But abuse comes in all forms. It comes in mental abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, okay? And things don't just have to be physical to be abusive. And a lot of relationships out there are mentally and emotionally abusive without people even realizing it. So first things first, to get clean, to love yourself more, you have to understand what abuse is. So let's talk a little bit about what abuse is. First, right out of the gate, gaslighting. A lot of people don't understand what gaslighting is, right? They think they know, but they don't. Gaslighting is when someone tries to tell you that what you believe or what you're experiencing isn't real or has no value, right? So they're going to say things like, "You're too sensitive, you're too emotional," or they'll try to cover up their lie. So like when you actually catch them red-handed, they'll try to twist the scenario and twist what the reality of the situation was. "Well, you didn't really actually see me with that person." Okay, like they'll try to make it seem like that. Or they'll be like, "I did this horrible thing to you, but I did it for your own good because you just get too upset. So I couldn't really be honest with you." That's abuse. That's gaslighting. They're trying to make it seem like you can't handle the truth, right? You don't really want that. Like telling you what you want, okay, and what you don't want. It's not okay when you're verbally expressing what you want and someone's telling you that's not true. They're gaslighting you, okay? It didn't happen that way. Like you're making that up when you're clearly just trying to talk about something that actually did happen and the way that you feel about it. Your feelings on a subject are not debatable. They don't get to decide how hurt you should be about something. They don't, okay? You can't take a joke. I'm going to remind people that a joke is when both parties find it funny. If one person in the parties, like if there's two parties to the joke and one party doesn't find it funny or doesn't know that it's like not real, it's not a joke, that's abuse, okay? So just so you know, like both people have to be laughing, okay? So gaslighting is huge, and I want people to remember that, gaslighting isn't something that is commonly taught in our society and cultures, and that's why it works so well. When you understand what gaslighting is, go and read what gaslighting phrases are so that you can understand if they're being used on you, okay? I didn't know I was in an abusive marriage till the very end, and then when I woke up to the fact that I was in an abusive marriage, it was because when I would relay what was happening in my life to other women, two women both said the term gaslighting. "He's gaslighting you." And I was like, "What? Like, what does that even mean, right? And I had to go look it up, and I had to go look up what gaslighting was. And that's when I started to learn I was in an abusive marriage. That was just the tip of the iceberg, right? But so if someone is gaslighting you, they're abusing you. Okay. Number 2, when someone can't take accountability for their actions, that is mental and an emotional abuse. Whether they want to believe it or not, it doesn't matter the intention behind it. When they can't take accountability for their part in the relationship, they did something, it was a stumble, it hurt you, maybe it didn't hurt them, that's okay, but it still hurts somebody in the relationship. There's accountability for that, right? And so when someone can't take accountability, when they can't talk about what has happened, right? And accept, like, there's consequences, right? People are going to have hurt feelings. People are going to have higher, stricter boundaries, and the foundation and trust is going to be broken when you do things that are harmful in a relationship. If they can't have that accountability, then that's abuse. Someone who is emotionally intelligent and loves and respects you is going to allow you to bring things up that they have done that are incorrect and allow you to have open conversations about it and then correct their behavior, right? Because they don't want to be harming you if they love you. They don't want that. But if they're abusive and they love you, they're going to not take accountability or they're going to say that they will, and then they're not going to do it through their actions, okay? One thing that I always got when I was in my abusive marriage was, like, when I try to bring something up, was the phrase, that's in the past. I'm not going to keep rehashing the past because you keep bringing it up because you can't get over it. If someone in one party in a relationship keeps bringing it up when things get heated, right, it means that you guys haven't healthfully closed the wound, right? You guys haven't healthfully cleared that out, or the wound keeps getting opened up because the habit, like, someone else keeps doing the same habit to reopen it over and over and over again, right? That's what was happening to me, is they would say, like, oh, I'm sorry, then they do it again. Oh, I'm sorry. Sometimes I didn't even get an I'm sorry, right? But and then I wasn't allowed to talk about it. I wasn't allowed to ever bring it up, my pain up. I wasn't ever allowed to be scared that they were going to do it again. You can be scared. You have to work through that fear, but if someone does something on repeat over and over again, that's natural for you to be freaked out that they're going to act that way and behave in that way because they have chronically acted in that way, okay? Number 3, playing mind games with you. So promising one thing, but then acting out another, right? If they keep promising something and not delivering, that's a mind game. That's abuse, okay? Saying something to get a rise out of you when they really don't, like, they're just trying to poke at you emotionally. That's abuse, okay? Being chronically dishonest is abuse when they cannot be forthright and honest with how they feel and what they mean and what their actions, all that. Abuse, okay? Next, yelling, screaming, name calling. Abusive. No matter if you've done it once, no matter if you've done it twice, no matter if you do it every single week in a marriage or a partnership. If you are doing that, it's abusive. It is not okay. And every time it's done, you need to try to map out a plan to get it to stop, right? Especially if you have little children and they're watching. Not okay to name call, scream. That is abusive. Yelling at someone is not okay. If you're not treated, the next one is, if you're not treated as an equal partner in an intimate partnership and relationship, it's abuse. I remember I was constantly belittled and told that I wasn't pulling my weight because I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom for my children. First off, that is pulling your weight. Second off, I was running my own business and doing side gigs on the side that actually equaled the same amount as my W-2'd employee position that I was being paid for prior to children, but yet I was constantly belittled and berated and acted as if I was not an equal partner because I didn't bring in the W-2 type of income. It's not okay. It's abusive. Okay? So if any of that's going on in your life, and those are some of the just big hitters, I could go on all day, but those are some of the main ones. If any of that's happening, you are in an abusive relationship and you need to look into healing that or getting out. Okay, take care. And don't forget, love yourself. Bye.